What is up, fellow questers and painters and good people? Um, me and my husband have recently started this midnight quest. He is going to be playing Hero Quest on certain nights. And then I will be painting 2 nights of the week. So on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, or Monday morning or Thursday morning, however you want to work that in there. So I'm going to be painting miniatures. Now, a little bit of backstory before I begin. I started painting, hasn't been too long, about a year ago or so. We were looking for somebody to just, when we got this idea to maybe start doing this, where he would start playing, doing a streaming thing. He has all these miniatures. He's had these games for years, and then he's gotten all, since they came back into fashion, he's had them all. And he's gotten a bunch of them, as you can see behind me there. He's gotten just a whole bunch of them. So he has hundreds of minis, just hundreds of minis, and the majority of them are unpainted. So when we looked into maybe trying to find somebody to paint them, it was really expensive, for good reason, because it takes a certain person and a certain amount of talent and patience to be able to do it. And so I thought, well, let me just try it. Let me just, see if I can maybe add to it. Maybe I could do it without needing to worry about, maybe bringing in an outside source. And then, I started it and I really, really liked it. I'm not a professional by any means, but I just really, really enjoy it. So let's get started. Right now I'm in the middle of painting some Swamp Goblins. My husband has got different classifications. I don't know what I did with my notebook, but we have like mountain goblins and desert goblins, and there's just different classes. So right now I'm working on the swamp variant. I got a few of them done last night, and I'm working on them now. I got 4 here that I've dry brushed, and I've begun painting the skin tone on. And then I've got a few here that will need to be dry brushed. So depending on how long this goes, and where I am with these 4 by the time I get that done, where we're at, and then maybe I can get to dry brushing some of these. So let's get started. So try to adjust the camera the best that I can. I do wear these magnifying goggles here. I got them real cheap on Amazon. They're like, I don't know, I don't even think, like $20 maybe. And they have this light here. It has 2 settings, a light and then like a brighter light. And then the magnifying glasses. It's really, really cool because it also comes with these, which is the different size lenses and stuff. So you can get basically as close as you need to. I would not be able to paint these minis without these glasses. So I'm going to try to, looks a little silly, kind of look like a frog, but it's fine. It works. I'm hoping you guys will be able to see these guys. So that's what I'm working on right now, is just the little goblins. And see if we can turn a light on. Maybe you guys can see it. I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see this as I'm painting it. And so I always like to use a small detail brush when I'm working on a pretty small miniature with lots of detail in the armor and stuff. And so for these guys, I went with just a really dark green, like skin tone. And I did that. I'm making these guys, we discovered last night when my husband was playing that the mountain orcs, I thought that the skin tone was like enough difference, but it's pretty similar. I thought this one was a little bit darker, but it's not. This is called a Gunner Camo, and I'm just using the Army Painter Speed Paints. I really like them. They dry really quickly. And so he was like, I'm going to have a hard time telling these apart. And I said, well, these guys have white eyes, whereas the mountain orcs have yellow eyes. And then the weapons are going to be this horde bronze color. And then the mountain goblins. I don't know if I said that already. I probably said that again. But anyway, the mountain goblins are going to have silver weapons. So these guys are going to have, so maybe that'll help him be able to tell the difference when he has them both on the board. Because I'm sure that will happen at some point. So if it's turned around away from him, then at least maybe he'll be able to tell by the highlights that if it's got silver on its highlights and it's silver weapons, then it's the mountain goblins. And then if it's bronze, it's the swamp goblins. Trying to figure out the color combinations that I wanted to paint for these guys is been a lot of fun, I got a whole bunch of different paints, as you can see right here behind me. I just ordered, I think it was like a 300 pack or something like that. I'm not sure, or 100, 200, something like that. Anyway, I know that you can't really see me, but I can see the chat and I can see you. It's not really easy to see me. And then this Horde Bronze, the only thing, I have a few of these different speed paints, that the paint settles at the bottom, the colors separate, and so getting them mixed back up is a huge pain, and I just threw that behind me. Pardon me while I grab that. Wow. Should have been in baseball, I guess. I was in baseball when I was younger, softball, but I just tossed that right back there like, wow. All right, I think that's pretty good. All right, so, if you are interested in buying these kind of paints, or if you do use these kind of paints, it doesn't take very much at all, just a very small amount. It's always better to not have enough and get a little more than to dump a whole pile on there and then only use a tiny little bit of it. A little bit of this paint goes a very long way. And so I'm going to try to bring this a little closer maybe, so that way you guys can see what I'm doing maybe. So we're just going to get some of our bronze paint, and we're going to start with the weapon, I think. And then he's got like some shoulder details and like the knee pad, or the knee, I guess they're knee pads, whatever those are on his knees. And so that will all be bronze as well, just like highlighting the different. I'm going to try not to babble. I tend to babble a lot when I am just trying to fill empty space. So there may be times where I'm just not really talking a lot, But I will interact with you guys if you guys want to talk to me, and if you guys have any pointers and stuff, because like I said, I'm by no means a professional doing this. It's just a hobby of mine that I enjoy doing. But if anybody gets in here that also is painting, and if you guys have been painting for years, and you got some tips or some tricks, if you see me doing something and you're like, that could be done this way a little easier, I'm more than willing to accept your advice and take it into account and see if it will make the difference for me. I do love these little things that they're on. It comes with this, it's a set that I got off of Amazon again, where it's this, the handle, and then it comes with 8 of these. So there's a big one. There's 2 big ones. The other big one, I have the magnet actually fell at the bottom of it, so I got to glue it. And then it comes with 6 of these, the little ones. And it's just a magnetized, it just kind of clips down on there. And I absolutely love that it kind of just, and then I can twist it and turn it as I need it. It turns real easy. I'm going to order another one of these so that I can get, like when I have groups to do like these guys, I've done so many of these goblins, and so when I have big groups of these guys, I want to be able to do basically them all at once. And so I'm going to order another one of these. And again, this thing wasn't too expensive. When I looked online to get another one, it's $25 for this. So I don't think that's too terrible. And it comes with other stuff. It comes like with a little bag, and then like this attachment that you can put on this to kind of hold your hand steady if you're kind of shaky. Excuse me, I don't really need that because I got a pretty steady hand. But I really like this thing because when I was shopping around for something like this, I was like, I don't want like I bought this one, and you could only do one at a time, and I was afraid I was going to get paint all over it, and I was like, I just don't really like that. And so when I started looking around, and I found these, and I thought, this is actually kind of perfect. Like, it allows, like I said, it allows me to move the miniature around as I need it, and then I can hold it upside down without risking it, falling off. If I need to hold it up down like this to get into a crack or a crevice or cranny, nook and cranny, then I can do that pretty easy. And it makes painting these guys a lot easier for sure. And so some of the stuff on these figures I only have to do like one coat, but sometimes I need to do it more. I got to put a little bit more on there just because it can be a little thin because it's speed paint, so it's already kind of thin and watery. But it dries so quick that like by the time I get done with a different area, I can pretty much come back to that area again before I switch colors and just go over it again really quick. And it works fantastic. I love this speed paint. When I first wanted to start doing this, I looked online at some, I looked at some different like YouTube videos and things like that because I was like, I'm really interested in this and I want to make sure that they look decent and they look good. And so I followed a couple of different things and I've watched a couple of different, I think that the one I started watching, the couple videos I started watching, when I was looking to start doing this, and I was like, okay, what are the basics? What are some really good things that I need to get to start doing this like seriously? And so one of the things that I'm going to try not to. So one of the things that I'm going to one of the videos that I started watching was, I think he's called The Miniature Hobbyist on YouTube. And he has some like dry brushing techniques, and he was the one that actually got me into these speed paints because he did a video with them, and I was like, I really want to do those. I really like those, and so I bit the bullet and I just went in and I ordered a big pack of them, and it was a good purchase because I definitely do not regret that. They've worked out fantastically for me. I really like them a lot. I did not last Christmas, but the one before, so 2024's Christmas, we bought my husband's dad, so my father-in-law, we bought him an expansion, and I painted it for him for Christmas because he paints his own minis, but he prefers not to have to. And I was like, I think that would be a really good, Christmas gift for him is to get it. And when he opened it, he was like, oh, that's awesome that you got me, an expansion. And I was like, well, open the box. And he goes, oh, please let them be painted. And he opened it and they were painted. It was the Against the Ogre Horde expansion. And I had painted those. And I have those up on my Instagram as well. And they were a lot of fun to paint. And so I'm looking forward to when I start to get into that stuff for my husband, because I've already painted those. So it'll be nice, that I already have experience doing those. And so, okay, so I got this guy's blade, his shoulder piece, and the knee pads. I think really that's pretty much it for armor on this guy. Maybe I'll do it. He's got an earring, so maybe I'll do his earring in that color too. Just to kind of give it a little bit more, something that, when my husband is playing with them, he can be like, oh, that's the Swamp Goblin. That's the one I need. So he's got 2 earrings. He's got one on this ear and one in this ear. I think actually he might have 2 in this ear. So we're just going to paint that little area right there. Okay. All right. And so this next guy is the exact same. And so I'm going to paint the exact same things again, but I'm going to wet my brush. So that way, because after a while, especially if you are a painter too, your brush can tend to get, like, the paint on it will start to dry even while you're still painting with it, and so it's better just to give it a fresh dip in the water there and basically put fresh paint on it so it doesn't dry too much. And again, like I said, I didn't want to do too much. I'd rather have not enough on there and squeeze a little bit more out of the bottle than put a whole pile there and then not use the majority of it. So again, like this first coat, I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try to get you guys down here a little bit better. It's hard to see, I know. So there's still some of the dark blade showing through, and I don't really want that for the blade. So I'll go and I'll paint like his knee pads and stuff, and by the time I'm done with that, I can come back and redo that sword, and it'll be dry. So these guys definitely dry. It takes longer when I prime these guys to get that to dry than it does these speed paints, and I love that. It helps me get them done quicker. I don't have to sit, like, put a coat on there, and then I have to sit and wait. Well, good. I'm glad. My husband did a video last night, and when he went back to rewatch it today to see just how it had done, because this is only our second episode, and the audio and the video were not synced up for the most part. Like, it was at certain points, but then there was points, I don't know if the computer was just having trouble keeping up, and so there were points where it just wasn't synced at all. But he just messaged and said that it's syncing, so yay! I'm glad that it's syncing. But anyway, yeah, I've been doing this for probably about a year or so now, off and on. I have ADHD, and so when I'm painting, I'll go through spurts where it's like, I have a few different hobbies, and I go through spurts where all of them, where I'm like, this is the only thing that I want to do, and this is the only thing I want to focus on, and then I go through points in my life where I'm just like, I don't want to do this ever again. Like, I'm tired of this. I'm moving on to something else. And then I'll move on to one of my other hobbies that I have. But I can't really do that now that we're going to try to get this up off the ground and try to get this done. And so I'm going to have to stick with it, even if I get, like, bored of it, or if I get worn out with it, I'm going to have to stick with it. Which is not the worst hobby in the world to have to stick with, honestly. So, I'm good with that. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some more on this sword. Yeah, so when I started doing this, I meant to pull out some of the minis that I had, like, when I first started doing this, so I could show them, and then I forgot to do that, and I'm kind of boxed in here, so maybe in the next stream I can pull some of those out and show, the ones that I've done that really kind of, like, made me want to do this, so I definitely meant to pull those out, and I just completely forgot, and so I already boxed myself in, so I'm like, well, next time I'll do that. Okay, I'm going to get his other earring here. His 2 earrings. And yeah, I came down here last night after our sons were asleep. And I painted for a little while. That's why these guys' skin and stuff was already done, because I came down and I painted for a little while my husband was streaming. And our cat got down here and we didn't know it, and so she was stuck in the basement all night. Luckily, she's a good cat for the most part. She gets underfoot, but she was when we moved in here, she was an outside cat, and she was terrified to come near me. She had a friend that she ran around with, and he disappeared, unfortunately. I don't know whatever happened to him, but she kind of warmed up to us and then kind of just adopted us into her life. And so she comes inside and then she goes outside. So she's an indoor-outdoor cat, but she got stuck down here last night because we did not, I went up to bed before my husband was done streaming and forgot that she was down here. And so see, this is starting to dry here. So I'm just going to put another a little dab there. It's funny because when I get through these little minis that have lots of little details on them, I'll have like each one of these compartments will have like 2 or 3 different colors of paint, and the whole thing will fill up before. Okay, so these guys are a little bit different. They look a little different. But again, I'm still just going to work on doing the weapon in this bronze color. I need to fix this. I go through a lot of little detail brushes. I actually ordered this last week. It's just a 30 pack of just little detail brushes. Again, I got that pretty cheap on Amazon because I'm like, it's hard. Like, I don't want to buy an entire pack of paintbrushes just for the little brush that's in them. So I went looking on Amazon and I was like, they have this 30 pack of paintbrushes. I'm just going to get that. And I haven't used one yet. I haven't needed one yet, but I do have one put out here for when this one inevitably will get worn out. Because I like painting with the little detail brushes versus painting with a big brush and then making a bunch of mistakes and that either are hard to fix or aren't fixable at all. Pardon me. Yeah, I actually forgot about that. So, pardon me for just one moment here while I fix that. Let me turn this off, and then I completely forgot about that. So we have some music that we like to play in the background, and I just forgot about it. So pardon me for 1 second. I'm going to play that. Hopefully it'll start playing here. And then bring that back up. Yeah. So it should be playing now. Hopefully it'll start playing and come through not too loud or anything like that. So, all right, I'm going to let that... I guess it's this whole thing at the top is like the blade here. Thought it was like just part of it, but I think it's the whole thing. So I'm going to be really careful when I get down to where his hand is. Because while fixing mistakes on these is not too complicated usually, depending on the colors, I don't like having to do it. So these guys, unfortunately, don't really have a whole lot in the way of, like, armor. They're more just, like, cloth, like the cloth, loincloth, I guess you could call that. And then this up here is cloth. They don't really have too much armor on, so these guys maybe only will have their, like, hatchet or whatever that is. Whatever kind of weapon that is. That he's holding in his hand there. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So, I think, yeah, I don't really see anything else on him that would need to be this bronze color. Because he's got like a little knee pad here, but it's a skull. And I'm going to paint that like a bone white color. Like an off-white. It'll probably be this one, this darker bony or skeleton bone is what that's called. So let's paint the other guy's hatchet or whatever that thing is that he's holding in his hand. And then, yeah, there is like a handle or something like on one part of this that's coming up over his hand that I want to make sure that I don't paint. Now sometimes with these guys I have painted like rust on the blade or like blood on the blade. I've done that. I don't know if I'll do that with any of these guys because I really like the look of this Horde bronze color. So I'm not sure if I'll put, what do you guys think? Should I put blood on any of the blades or rust? I don't think I'd really need rust with these being kind of an orangish color already. But putting blood on them maybe. So, alright, we'll let that dry and then I'll put another coat of that on there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, this too. Alright, I don't know about anybody else, but this color is called Charming Chartreuse, and I always forget that chartreuse is green. For some reason, it feels like it should be red. I'm going to take this off because I'm getting warm. But chartreuse has always felt like a red color to me, and it kind of is upsetting that it's not red. I feel like it used to be red, and maybe this is like a Mandela effect kind of thing, but chartreuse just does not feel like a green to me. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to go back to this guy, and he's got some other armor. Let's see, what color do I want to do next? Probably do his like little loincloth thing. And this is the one, you know, the part where I kind of make these guys different is I'll paint their like main clothes different colors. I usually will keep their armbands the same from goblin, you know, miniature to miniature, but like the actual clothing I will change to different things. So I think for this guy, I actually think I'm going to put which color? Let's do the chartreuse, I guess. We'll do his loincloth in that, the chartreuse color. Ooh. It just needs a little shaking and a little drop of that. Okay. Alright. So let's get to painting this guy's little like loincloth thing. Yeah, I wanted some, you know, I have a whole bunch of different colors to choose from. So when I'm picking color palettes for these guys, I'm glad that I have a different, you know, a selection to choose from. It was really kind of hard to pick a color palette for these guys just because the mountain guys too would be kind of similar in color as far as like their color palette is kind of similar. And so I'm like, I don't want it to be the same. And I did not think until my husband pulled out one of the mountain goblins last night that the mountain goblin skin was that similar to these guys' skin. And I'm like, I thought it was a lot lighter than that. I don't remember painting it that dark. But they were the ones that I did first. You know, I did the mountain goblins, and then I think I did desert ones, and then I did the ocean ones. And so there was a gap between the mountain guys and these guys. And so when he pulled it out last night, I'm like, I do not remember that being that dark, even a little bit. So I think, yeah, I think that looks pretty good as far as it is just his little loincloth there painted. We're going to try to work on the lighting down here and see if we can't fix that a little bit. So I think, and then I'll just grab a random one too. This guy, I think I'll make his hat this color as well. So it's kind of like a flyby, you know, an on-the-spot decision. As far as when I paint them, you know, I start painting their clothes and stuff, because it's like, I don't want to have to sit and think about it too hard. And so it's like, I'll make the split decision as I go, versus having to try to like write it all out and try to perfect it. And like, I feel like that's one of the good things about this hobby, is that like it doesn't have to be perfect. I want it to look good for sure, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think this comes down here. And so that's the one thing that I like about this, is because it kind of gives you the freedom to be creative, but it also, you don't have to be perfect about it. You know, and I'm not by any means trying to be perfect about it. I just want it to look good, and I think I do a pretty good job of making it look good. So another good thing that I like about dry brushing is, like, for example, this guy's hat is like, because there's that white on there that brought the detail out, it's like this hat is like, it's green now, but there's dark spots like that almost make it kind of look like a natural kind of shadow. I don't know if you guys, I know it's hard to see, but it kind of gives it on the top there, like right in there, it gives it like some shadow and stuff, so it's not just a solid plain bright green. You know, it has some depth to it. I like it. I like the way that looks. So I think in this instance for sure that it calls for it, for sure. So the only thing that I have not enjoyed about doing this hobby so far is doing any of these miniatures' eyes, because these eyes are so small and so tiny to get even the smallest paintbrush into. So one of the things that I actually did was I went on and I bought these. Where's the rest of them? Right here. So I bought a pack of these because these are actually nail, like when you're painting nails to do designs on a nail. Because that, if you can see how thin that is, so that allows me to get down into the eye sockets without just blobbing it on there. And I like, most of the time it works out for me. It doesn't always. Sometimes it bleeds over and then it's, I got to kind of do some brush up work to fix it. But for the most part, it works. All right, I think this guy's loincloth is going to be this Hive Dweller purple. So, again, just a little dab. Alright. Some of these pinks, too, I don't know if it's the ingredients in them to make the different colors, but some of them, like, have a strong smell. It's almost worse than, like, spray paint. As far as, like, how, like, potent it is. And so it gets pretty potent in here depending on which color I'm using. And not all of them are like that, so I don't know if it's just, the different ingredients and the different colors that kind of do that. But, yeah, they're a little, they can be a little bit on the stinky side sometimes. I'm trying not to babble and bore you guys with my babbling. So I'll try not to talk too much. Okay, I think that's a good color. Some of these guys, they just, when they re-released them, because these are the newer versions, these 6 that I have here are actually like the original guys, like from the 80s or whatever year these guys originally came out. So these are like some of the original guys. When they redid these miniatures, the colors of these miniatures, so I think these guys were green when I started painting, and getting that primer over that green, not easy. It is fairly difficult getting that primer over top of that green without that green showing through. So I gotta like slather on the primer in order to get that to not do that. And then sometimes I feel like sometimes there's too much detail on these guys. Like, as cool as they look, sometimes because they mass produce these guys, I think it just, a lot of the detail can get lost. And it kind of can get muddied, and you just, sometimes I can't even tell what I'm trying to paint. It gets just that muddled, and I'm just like, what? Don't sacrifice, quality for the sake of tiny little details that are going to be impossible to see just because you can't, and not being able to tell what it is you're even trying to paint because they, want to make it, too much, to do too much, essentially. So, yeah, so I definitely am a fan of not as much detail in order to see what it is I'm supposed to be painting. The ones that I painted last night, they're like these little, I think they're females, I'm not positive. I think so. And they have like 2 daggers, one in each hand, and they just sometimes, and they're smaller than these guys, and so a lot of the detail on those gets lost pretty easy. And it had been a while since I had painted those guys, or those girls, whatever they are. And I told my husband, I said, can I have one that I already painted so I can see what it is I'm supposed to be painting? And he was like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, a lot of the detail is muddied on this, even with the dry brushing, so I can't tell what I'm supposed to, like, what this is that's on this goblin right now. And thankfully, some of the other ones I had done had those details, and so I didn't really have to worry. I could just kind of make it up and paint it similar, at least, to the other ones that I did already. But I was just like, this is, yeah. I can't tell. Like, for this example, this is a good example of this, actually. So right here under this guy, it's kind of hard to see, but right here, under this guy's arm, right here, I can't tell if this is a shirt he's wearing or if it's his chest. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to wing it, and maybe, I think I intended for it to be a shirt that he's wearing, some sort of like tunic on the top here. So we're going to paint it purple. Can't guarantee that on the other ones if I didn't just paint that green or whatever color, skin tone he had. And then I think this goes up under here. So I'll bring it down. Don't want to paint the hat or the strap on the hat, but it's kind of hard to see. And then I'll put the paint under here as well, so this can kind of be like a shirt. And he also has a belt on, so I don't want to paint on that belt. I got to be careful. Really, really super careful. Not that I can't paint over it, but I would rather not have to do that. All right. Let's get this guy's tunic. See, I can already see I accidentally dabbed a little on the end of that. That's okay. Just depending on what color his hat ends up being, it should cover that. Okay. And I just painted on top of this too. Okay. Little mistakes, as Bob Ross would say. They're happy little mistakes. Or whatever it is that he said. I think that's what he used to say. Or happy little accidents. That's what it was. Happy little accidents. And I'm going to view it like Bob Ross does. Or did. I missed some right here. And I missed some. Oh, sometimes these angles too. Now, I will say, one of the other things that I have not been a fan of having to paint so far is anytime I do a miniature that has a shield. Like, there's a character in this game called Sir Ragnar, and I did his miniature. There's 2 different versions of him. So there's like a regal version where he has a shield and a sword. And then the other version is this like grimy, he's been imprisoned and, version of him. But the regal version has got this shield. And, man, I hate painting around shields because you can't get behind them. They're really difficult to paint around. As cool as they look, they're really, really difficult. And so I'm going to redo the coating on this, on the hatchet now because that has dried. So I'm just going to put another coat over there to kind of make that. I actually forgot about that. So I'm going to do it while I'm thinking about it. Because I also have, like, the world's worst memory. So trying to remember things, not, you know. I never had a good memory. I've always had problems concentrating and remembering things. But then after I had, you know, my kids, it got worse. And now I can't remember anything ever. To the point where I even forget, like, my own name sometimes. So there's that. But it's fine. It's fine. Alright, I don't want to have to get more of this. I can avoid it. So I'm going to try to use it a little bit. It's starting to get dry, so I'm just going to try to get that. And I think that worked. Shouldn't need any more. So that worked. Alright. So I did the purple. So now, let's see. I think this guy. I haven't done either of the loincloths on these guys. Alright, so I did these two colors. Let's do what other color did I use for that? The Absolution Green. Alright, this one's called Absolution Green. It's a little bit of a brighter green. I don't know if you can kind of see the top of the cap there. I know it's difficult. The lighting's not the greatest. And so, and then sometimes with these paints too, it gets all gunked up around the top. So just pull that off of there like that. And then give us a little bit of that green. I'll put that there. And I'll do, since how this guy's hat is green, I'll do the like loincloth thing in this color. And this is a brighter green than the skin tone, so it doesn't just blend in. When I was doing these guys' armor last night, I really, I had a lot of browns that I ended up with on this armor, and it was enough of a difference that, like, if you really look at it, you can see it. But I kind of did that on purpose because they're supposed to be kind of swamp guys, so they kind of blend in, you know what I mean? To like the trees and stuff. And I just got that on his leg, darn it. Like the swampy areas and the water and stuff. And so I didn't want them to have like gold on their leather armor and like, you know, and things like that. And so I just used a bunch of different like shades of brown and like a dark red and stuff because you're supposed to not be able to see them very well. They're supposed to kind of be, you know, when they want to hide they can kind of thing. And camouflage. And so at first I was unhappy with it, but then I was like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I probably ought to actually keep that all those different browns, even though they kind of blend together, just because, again, so that they're not seen. Alright, let's see. I've done that guy's loincloth, that guy's, and this guy's. I haven't done this guy's, but I don't want to do the same color loincloth. So maybe this purple guy will do, I think he's got a shirt on over here, or at least it looks like a shirt to me, so we're gonna paint it. We're gonna paint it the shirt color. And it kinda, yeah, so it comes around the back here into this thin little area here that's right above his belt. So we're going with it. And then I think I'm going to do this above the belt area too. He's got like this bandolier thing. Is that what that's called? The thing that goes across your chest? Or is that like a band thing? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So the thing that is wrapped around his chest here, this like little like belt looking thing. I know it's hard. You guys can't really see it because it's such a small miniature, but yeah. So yeah. We'll paint that green. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Okay. Oh, and there's a little area actually on his back too, where it comes up above that belt thing that's on his back. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint that the same color as well. Okay, I thought I saw the computer do something. Wanted to make sure it didn't. Okay, and then that's pretty good. Alright, let's see. I need another... Apparently these guys are a little bit more detailed because I need another like armor color because they have some other armor on. These browns are what I'm going to use for their like leather bracers on their arms and their shoes and stuff. So I don't want to use... Maybe I'll see if I have another... What's another color that I can use for... Let's see. I don't want anything too pink, and I don't want anything too... Maybe I'll use... Maybe yellow? This dark yellow, maybe? Could be a good one. Let's find out. This is called Sand Golem. So we'll see how sandy it is. I hope that's not too annoying in my my microphone. Just leave recording and watch it back later and all you hear is okay, is this brown or is it actually like, okay, it's like, it's kind of brown. Maybe an orangish brown. Okay, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna go with it and see what it looks like on this guy, on his loincloth. We're just gonna go with it. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, okay, that's a good color. I like it. All right. Okay, it's not quite as brown as I thought. It's more like an, I guess it's yellow, like a yellowish, orangish, brownish color, I guess. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can get these guys done. I think the reason why I got burnt out the last time I did that is because I did all of these goblins all at once, and so like I got so burnt out painting these guys and so tired of it that I was like, I don't want to see goblins for like the next year. I'm tired of goblins. I'm tired of painting goblins. But like when I got back into it, I was like, oh, I don't want to do goblins, but like I need to finish them. And then this was the last set, I thought, right? And so I'm like, okay, good. I can finish that last set of goblins and then I can move on. I think the orcs are next. And I was like, I can move on. I can move on and do something else. And I'm excited about that. I'm super stoked about it. And then my husband, somebody was selling in our town, somebody was selling like an original, which one was it? It was the Mage of the Mirror, I think, the original, along with a whole bunch of other ones, like the original versions. And so we ended up going and getting that. And so it added more miniatures to it. And so we have all these new goblins and we were like, okay, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to just add more to the mountain and more to, you know, add a few more here and there? Or do we want to do like a whole nother class? And that's what we ended up doing. So I'm going to have another whole class after this to do of goblins. And I'm like, ugh. But it'll be fun. I enjoy painting. I just, like I said, it gets a little tedious when, oh, you know what? I think this guy would look good because he's got the darker green tunic and the lighter green hat. And I think that this color, this like yellowish color, will look good with both of those things. So we're going with it. We're going to do it. I'm going to try not to paint the hat since how I already painted the hat. I don't want to have to paint over it. So, we're going to try it. But yeah, anyway, so we have another class of goblins that I'm going to have to do. But it'll be pretty cool. It's a pretty cool class. And I just realized I missed some of this guy's hat. So, is this the green? Yeah. Okay. That I need for that. So I'm going to paint up in here because I forgot to get behind his ear. Happy little accident. Okay. Back to this color now. But anyway, so yeah, I'll have another class to do, but it'll be fine. It's the last class. I think they are the you know what? I can't remember now off the top of my head what it is, but I suggested it, and then he was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Because now I have all these goblins, I have a whole nother class of goblins. Deep goblins, that's what they're called. My husband's watching this. So yeah. So we got some deep goblins and deep orcs and deep, different ones to do. So that'll be fun when I get to them. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I want to go ahead and do those after I get these swamp guys done, or if I want to go ahead and move on. But like at the same time, it's like I kind of want to get them done. I just don't know if I have the patience to do another whole set of these guys because it gets tedious. I was excited to kind of move on and do some of the bigger guys, but my husband's heroes need painted too, and so that might be what I do after I get done with this set of goblins, is to just go ahead and do the heroes. So that way I could take a break from the goblins and also still be productive, So that's what we're doing with that. All right, and so this again is like I made it into like a shirt tunic thing, so I need to get that underneath there. All right, I'm gonna come down with it. Try not to get his hat because I already painted his hat. I don't want to have to paint over anything. Okay, that actually worked out pretty good. Alright, so we'll do that. Just don't paint his belt. Alright, I didn't use this color because like I said, the other ones must not have had as much clothing because the other ones I didn't need this extra color, but I actually really do like this like orangish, brownish, it's still kind of like a swampy texture, swampy theme. So yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty good, except I just realized again that I missed another piece of his hat here. Right at the tip of this. We're gonna fix it and paint it. Oh shoot. Okay, I actually did get a little of that orange on the hat. So, chartreuse it is. I'm gonna put a little bit more chartreuse here. Just a tiny bit. Don't need much at all. Alright. So now we're gonna fix the hat. There we go. That is one of the things I've noticed about the like if you paint with a lighter color and then like you make a mistake with a darker color, trying to cover up the mistake with the lighter color is pretty difficult after that. Just depends on how noticeable it is and if you can cover it accurately and things like that. So and honestly, it was the tiniest little dot right there, and like looking at it like this without the magnifying glass, you can't even see it, but I know it's there, so it's like I gotta fix it because I know it's there. And I got orange on the skull. Almost perfectly, though. So it's actually not bad. Okay, so that guy, yeah, I like that. So that guy's upper tunic, and then I got this guy. He's like purple and orange. I gotta figure out a color for his hat. Maybe I'll do the Absolution green in this guy's hat, which I think was this. Yeah. So this guy's hat is going to be the brighter green color. I didn't paint that anywhere else. No. Okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't paint anybody else's hat that color, but only this one, and the other one, like this one, has a hat on. The other two didn't have hats on, so I don't gotta worry about that. Okay. Alright, let's paint these sides of the hat. Maybe I can remember not to forget the sides on the other side, which I did on the other hat. Alright, and painting underneath here too, without painting his forehead. See, this brush is starting to get... They do. These kind of guys have link hats. They really do. I need a little bit more of that Absolution green. Yeah, definitely that's the hat for sure that they resemble, is the link hat for sure. So, see how close I can get this without painting everything else around it. And this brush is starting to come apart. At the ends, it's starting to split. And when that starts happening, it's basically done for. And it needs to be replaced then. Which sucks, because I actually really like this brush. It's got a good handle on it, and it's a good like paintbrush length at the end, and it's lasted me for a while now. But it's starting to get frayed and not want to stay together, even with proper washing of it and stuff. So it's gonna have to be retired soon, I think. I'm hoping that those brushes that I ordered, they're a little bit smaller even than this one that I'm using right now, and I'm hoping that they're going to be good and that like I'll be able to use them for a little while and they won't fray apart like immediately, essentially. Is my hope for them. So hopefully that'll be how that goes. Alright, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. Okay. So, is that all the clothing, or am I still... I still need to do this guy's shirt. Alright, what color do I want to make this guy's shirt? Let's see. So let me look at these other guys real quick. Alright. Yellow, green, purple, yellow, or orange, whatever color that is. What color was this guy's? Okay, his was the brighter green. Does this guy have purple on him? No. So maybe we'll do purple, which that's getting a little dry, so we're going to get just a little bit more purple. Whew, see, that purple has a smell to it. I don't know what it is, but there is a smell to that purple paint. What ingredients do they use in the purple one that they don't use in the other ones? That makes it smell like that. Okay. Get this guy's shirt done, if that's what you want to call what he's wearing. Now I think on the other versions of these guys, this little bit that's above the little belt thing across his chest. I think I made it look like feathers. Or like, you know, that kind of thing. Because he's got a little bit of that coming out of the side of his armor. Like his armor sleeve he's got going on there. Which is fine. But I didn't want to do it with these guys this time. These guys are a little bit different. I'll just say they're different. Need to go all the way into the corner of this one. Okay, there we go. I got it. Alright, and I think I gotta figure out, you know what? Aw, I lost my paper towel. Did I get paint on my elbow? I don't think I did. But I got more paper towels right here, so I don't gotta worry about that. That one was getting old and painty anyway. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna do is, again, with the Horde Bronze, and it's already starting to settle. See? See that? It's supposed to be mixed. I just mixed it. It's so annoying. Gonna try to do it away from my mic. Alright, it mixed up a lot easier this time though, because I just did this. So, alright. So what we're gonna do is just put a little bit more of that. Again, a tiny drop here. And I think, because I left on his shoulder piece, the middle of it, I didn't do a color. I don't know if you can see that, but that piece right. Okay. So this piece right here, I didn't put anything in the middle of it. I thought I was going to make it a different color, but now I think I'm just going to make it the same color. And just, yeah. Because it's like, it's supposed to be this shoulder piece. And I'm not sure what other color I could even paint down in there. So we're just going to make it all one solid color here. Maybe I could have done gold, I guess. But I didn't want to do too much gold on these guys. I think I have gold, maybe. Do I not have gold out this time? No, I don't. Okay. I don't know what I'm thinking of then. I'm just crazy, I guess. Crazy. Just paint inside the shoulder piece, and it'll be a whole piece then. I'm going to try not to break out in song. You know, I like to sing a lot of the time. And I don't have the greatest voice, but I do like to just, you know, sing along with things that match what I'm talking about. But then I will get copyrighted, and I can't do that. So I got to be careful that I don't do that. Another part of the ADHD brain where we just break out in song all the time. Okay, so now I think I've got the majority of, like, the clothing done. Double check here. Yes. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do then is paint the armor and the shoes. So anything that's like leather, maybe I'll paint these skulls real quick on these guys' kneecaps. So I'll do this skeleton bone color. Alright, let's see. Just the tiniest little dab. You don't need much. And this actually is acrylic paint. This isn't a speed paint. Some of these I bought separate. I needed a good white, and none of these speed paints have a good white that's not more gray. And it's really hard to get white, I think, in a speed paint consistency, just because of it's white. And so I was like, I want a good, like, bone color, like a good, and so I actually got these two. So this one is skeleton bone, and this one is bony spikes. I wanted one that had, like, a little bit of a darker bone color, and then a lighter bone color. Because there's also a lot of skeletons that I'm going to have to paint, and mummies, and I was like, I need good, like, white tones for that, and the speed paint tones are not good for that. And so I was like, yeah, I definitely want to get some good bone colors. So that way, you know, when I get to the skeletons and stuff, I don't have to, you know, worry about how I'm going to get a good bone color on them. Just buying bone colored paint. And it worked out nice. And I have discovered too, every hobby that I have is really super expensive. So I do a few different things, and every time I get into a new hobby, I'm like, why does every hobby that I have to be interested in be so expensive? Because these paints are not cheap. They are expensive. And my sister-in-law actually was like, well, you don't have to buy those expensive paints. And I was like, I know. I could just go to Walmart and get some of the nice acrylic paints. And I do have some of those up there, some of the apple barrel paints that I use for skin tone sometimes, depending on what I'm painting. And like when I paint the bases, I usually do that with black acrylic paint and stuff. But I also really like the colors of these paints. And so every time I go and invest and buy some, it's like I have to save up a small fortune in order to do it. And it's the same way. Like, I'm an avid reader, so I have a lot of books, and like, it's the same way. It's the same exact thing. And I crochet, and that gets expensive. The yarn for that gets expensive, especially if it's a big project. I do photography on the side, so anything with that is also expensive. So all of my different hobbies and stuff. So I'm looking at this guy, and I'm thinking that maybe his handle of his weapon that he's got should also be this bone white color. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they crafted these weapons and they used bones, you know what I mean? Like animal bones to craft the handles of these weapons because they're swamp guys. Because I don't want to do just like the traditional brown. I did that with the other ones. And I'm wondering now, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going to make these handles of these machete looking things. And I'm not sure there's a handle. I think there is actually a handle on the other guy. I'm going to make it this bone white color. And then maybe we can just say, like I said, that they fashion their weapons out of animal bones. That's what I'm going with. Okay. Got to get a little bit more on that. This paint does tend to dry just as quick, which is another reason why I really like it. But it also clumps. It dries on the paintbrush, and then it clumps, and so then I gotta wash it off and redo it because I don't want it to clump. So yes, I'm gonna do the other guy's handle as well in this color. Yeah, I really, really like the Army Painter speed paints. And I was in a shop one time looking for different paints, and they had all different colors, and I just really loved them all, but they were, like I said, they're expensive. And so I was like, I just don't know if I can justify spending hundreds of dollars just because I really like the colors. However, if this is going to be a serious thing, it might be more doable, because we're looking to make this into a serious thing, and so it might be more doable for me to, or justifiable, I guess, to spend that kind of money if it's something that I'm going to be doing a lot and doing pretty constant and consistently. But I also saw a bunch of like the Citadel, so I have a couple of Citadel colors. So I have like this green, and this is the bone white I was using before I got the other two. Was just like this, and I do really like these colors as well, but again, there were so many options and there were so many different ones to choose from, and again, when you buy them individually, they get really, really expensive really, really quick. So I'm just like, again, don't know if I can justify spending hundreds of dollars on something like that right at the moment. Alright, now this one, this is an actual, okay, you know what, I'm just doing it. I'm just gonna maybe do this in a different color, but I don't want to put silver on these guys, and I also don't want gold on them, because they're just swamp guys, so they hunt through the swamps for their materials for their handles and stuff, so that's what we're going with. And okay, again, I think I need to be super careful that I'm not painting these guys' hands, because I already painted their hands, and this guy, unfortunately, I got a little bit on his hand, and so I'll clean that up when it dries. These don't dry as fast as the speed paints, but they still dry pretty quickly. So, we're going with it. We're going with it. Bone handles. Just the smallest amount. Doesn't need to be a big amount at all. And I'm not gonna lie, there will be times when I will be doing this in my pajamas, because it is late here. You know, obviously it's after midnight, you know, hence the title. And I'm not always gonna feel like wearing, like, just regular clothes and stuff. So there will be times when I'll be doing this in, like, my nightgown and stuff. And if that offends anybody, I just don't care, because I like being comfortable. I did that whole thing that everybody does, you know, when you're growing up and stuff, you know, in school and stuff, where you wear uncomfortable clothes just because you want to look nice. And now I'm more, you know, and then once you start to get older and you get past that part of your life, then it becomes about comfort. And I'm in that part of my life where I much rather be comfortable and happy than uncomfortable and unhappy, because I'm putting myself through misery. Okay, so this guy has got on his belt here, he's got what looks like two little, like, teeth. They look like little fangs on his thing there. So I think after I paint his belt, I'll do those two little dabs of white to make it look like a bone. As far as these feather things coming out of his shoulder pad and at the end of his brace on his arm, I don't know if I want to do those in white as well. I mean, I don't think so. I think those I'm going to make like a brown, because it could be like brown feathers. So I think that's what I'm going to do with those. Anyway, so this color, this brownish decay color, I really like this a lot, because it's like a darker brown, but at the same time it's also kind of like a greenish brown, and I think that that would work really well with a swamp theme. This is my favorite color that I've used for these guys so far, and it's just basically just to highlight certain things on their braces, on their arm braces and stuff like that. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this. Yeah, it's crazy to me how this color is brown, but it's also green at the same time. Like, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and like I said, next week, or not next week, but Wednesday night when I'm streaming, I'll get some of the minis that I first did, and I'll show you guys Some of the ones that I first did that really made me decide to want to do this, because it was, like I said, I went into it with hesitation, because I'm like, I loved painting and stuff when I was a kid, but it was always, just, I was a coloring book kid, so I grew up with coloring books. Coloring was like a lot of what I did in my childhood. Like most kids, most girls and stuff were playing with Barbies, and I did that too. But I was always down to just sit and color for hours. Me and my best friend would sit at her kitchen table at her house and just, that's what we did. That was our activity for like the whole weekend, where we would just sit and color for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then it turned into, I would get acrylic paint, I'd get the apple barrel paints and stuff, and then I would paint the coloring book pages, and I really liked doing that too. And I always liked the way that looked. I always liked the way that turned out. And so when I got, older, I kind of stopped doing that, because I just kind of lost interest in it. But I always really liked painting and stuff. And so when I decided to do this, I was like, I'll just give it a try and just see if I'm any good at it. And then, I feel like I do a pretty decent job at it, and I really enjoy it and like it. And I'm like, well, here's a new hobby, so cool. And it's one that I get to just have fun, creating. Because my husband basically just gives me free reign. He gives me a generalization, like a general idea of what he would like them painted as. But for the most part, he just kind of lets me have leeway to do with it whatever I want. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So I'm all about that for sure. To just kind of be able to do my own thing with it. Sometimes he might have a specific request. And I have no problem doing the requests and stuff. But I think it was just like an ad thing. Okay. So yeah, I have fun with it. And I get paint on my hands mostly, A lot of the times you can always tell when I've gone through a painting session, because I will have paint all over my hands, but, it's fine. It's fun. I think paint on your hands is just a symbol that you had fun while you were doing it. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. That's what I'm going with. Alright, now this is one of those nooks and crannies I was talking about earlier that are hard to get into sometimes. Okay, so let's see. Anything else on this guy I want to put? Maybe the things on his chest. So this thing. And this triangle looking thing. Maybe that. And then maybe this little thing. And this little thing. Like that. Okay, he's actually got wraps around his legs, but again, it's really hard to see the detail because it just kind of, when they mass produce these things, it's just a lot of the details get lost. So with his leg wrappings, I think I'm just gonna paint the whole boot, this sandal, whatever it is he's wearing, the same color other than the top of it. I would like to be able to paint it more cool, but the details are just kind of muddy, and it would get lost in there, I think. So let's go on to the next guy and get his little details done here. Yeah, so I think depending on where I'm at with these guys, I'm hoping to finish these guys. If not tonight, then probably not tonight, but then on Wednesday when I stream. Hoping to finish these guys And then I can start doing some of like the heroes. I'm super stoked about that. To get some of the heroes painted. Just for something different. Because like I said, I've been painting these guys for so long that like... I'm just tired of painting them. So, I'm hoping to get these guys done this week. And so that way, starting next Sunday, I'll have the heroes to do. And I'll probably end up like priming them off camera just because they take a while to dry, especially the bigger they are. So I would definitely probably prime them off camera. And then I might even dry brush them off camera as well. And then I can go right into painting them. So we ain't got to sit and just stare at the figures waiting to dry them. Unless you guys want to see that, which, you know, I can do, but I think that would be a little boring. Oh, it's getting close to 1:30 already. Wow. See, another thing with these guys is the more of them that you have to paint, the longer it takes because of all the tiny little details that are on them. And so it just, sometimes it feels like it just takes forever to get where we need to go. But the other guys, like the original guys, do not have this much detail. And so they'll be pretty easy to get done pretty quickly once I get to them. Another reason why I kind of saved them for last, because I can just, they'll be super easy. If I don't get these 4 guys done in this session, I might go ahead and finish them off camera, like off stream, just so that way when I come in the next stream, I can just do those 6 and knock them out. Because like I said, there's not as much detail on these guys, the original guys, so they are not going to take me as long to do. And maybe we can even move on to one of the heroes then, which would be awesome. Okay, so painting his little thing on his bandolier here, or whatever this is called. And then the little triangle piece. And the little pieces over top of this. Those little bones he has on his belt. Okay. So, let me get my brush clean here. And then we'll move on to these guys. Okay, these guys have got, let's see. We got Bracer, this arm, with a thick band at the top of it. Also, this guy has got some sort of like feathers or something coming out the end of his bracers. And his bracer actually kind of goes up into his arm, which is kind of weird. My brush is splitting. Like that. Like that. I need some more of this color. So that kind of, it goes up into his arm. It doesn't really come around. Again, one of those things that the details just kind of get lost. And get just a little dab more of this color. Oh, I need a pillow for my back. Let's see. I'll do this bracer now. And if you guys stay tuned and come back, I'm going to have my husband, once I get these goblins and stuff done, I think. I talked to my husband about this, and told him that I wanted to do, like, I crocheted these dice bags, and they're actually upstairs in our house because we do this down in our basement. And I'll bring those the next time and just show them to you guys. What I wanted to do is, in each of those bags, I think there's 6 of them, is for my husband to put a mini in there. And then you guys choose and vote on which bag that you want to see me open. And it's like, I don't know what's in them. I won't know what's in them. And I'm going to pull them out, depending on which one wins, if we can figure out how to do some sort of poll. And pull it out, and then, like, that'll be one of the minis that I paint. It'll just, all of them will have a different mini in it. Could be a small one, it could be a big one, it could be a medium-sized one. But it's going to just be a random one that I don't know, that could throw me off my game a little bit, but that's kind of like the point of it, the excitement of it. And I just thought that would be kind of cool to do. This guy's sandals are kind of weird. I think really that's the only highlight on those details is I need to do is the top of the sandal on the top of the bracer. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get that going there. Make sure we can bring this more this way. And then do. I'm gonna try to make sure I keep this in focus here. Keep you guys in the loop here. Yeah, we thought about, like, we're trying to figure out, like, some sort of setup where you guys can see this a little bit clearer, because it's really hard, especially when they're small, to see exactly what it is that I'm doing. And I would really like you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. And it's really hard when it's kind of far away and it's not the greatest lighting. So we're going to work on that and see and test that and just see what we can do to make it better. And feel free to drop suggestions if you guys also stream and have any, suggestions for that. On what would be like the best thing to get you guys closer to what I'm seeing. Because I definitely want you guys to be able to see what I see. And it's really hard, because it goes out of focus and stuff too, and I know that's also difficult and hard to watch when that happens. So and so I also can't remember for sure. I don't know if my husband is still watching, but if he is, how did we set this stream? Is it 2 or 3 hours? Because I cannot remember if it's 12 to 2 or if it's 12 to 3. So let me know if you're still watching. I might come back on Wednesday. Like I said, I might go ahead and finish these guys if I don't quite get them done tonight. Finish them over the next couple of days. Just finish these guys up. And then, like, I'll show them to you guys if I do end up finishing them up. And then I'll show you, I'll show you the finished product on Wednesday. And then, yeah, we'll do the older guys then. I like doing the older guys because, like I said, they're not as difficult as these guys. They don't have near as much detail. And I know that's kind of hard when they're, it's kind of hard to tell because they're black. But they don't have near as much detail as these guys do. I like having detail. I like doing detail. But it gets a little tedious after a little while to just do all the different, colors and stuff. So. Okay, I think that's pretty good for that guy. He's got this little thing on his belt here, actually, so I think I'm gonna paint that color as well. this like greenish brown color. It's got this little like pouch on his belt. I'm going to go ahead and paint that as well. Kind of right. I like that. And then I'll do it with this guy too. And again, see, this one is kind of just really muddy in this area. It's lost a lot of its detail and stuff just because they mass produce these, and it just, the more detail on it, again, like I said, the more detail gets lost. There's another little pouch that I missed because I didn't notice that before, because it just kind of blends in there. Some of them it's really super clear on, and then others it just disappears, the detail. And it's really hard to paint the details when they're just not there, really, you know. So that kind of, you know, is hard. All right, let's see. Let's do, I have this hardened leather color, and this is one of my favorite browns. It's a good, just nice, like kind of like medium to dark brown. And I use this on a lot of minis. And see, just like I said when I started, look at all the little dots I'm getting. All right, we'll start with this guy. All right, let's see. So this is the brown that I'm going to use for like the belts and the thing across his chest. I know it's hard to really see that. You guys can't really see that. But he has like a little belt across his chest here and around his waist. So that's the color I'm going to use for that. Ooh, you know what though? It's actually kind of the same. Ugh. Hang on a second. Let me see. Yeah, maybe if I use a couple of coats of that, I think it'll be fine. Okay, yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, that's not the same color. Like, I always thought that color was a little bit darker, but I just needed to get it in there. Okay, alright. So we'll do the back piece on the belt. Be careful. Alright, and then his waist, his belt around his waist also. Okay, I might text my husband here in just a second, just to ask him, because I really honestly cannot remember if we were aiming for 2 hours or 3. Okay, hang on. My eyes are starting to cross. The other thing I'm doing tiny detail is when your eyes start to try to give out on you. After you've been doing this for a minute. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and then this little thing coming off his hand. In between. Actually missed a spot on the other color. And this color up here. There we go. Got it. It was just a tiny little spot that I missed. So, alright, so this brown again. Let's see, so now, alright, you know, there's a little like buckle on this bracer on his arm. I think I'm going to do it in that bronze color. So I'm going to try to just paint around it. as best I can without painting it. And then I'm going to make it, yeah, like the Horde bronze color. Yep. Alright. Yes, I like that. Okay, now his shoes. His shoes are also going to be this color. Gotta be careful not to paint his feet. And with these, he's got like a little band of the shoe underneath his foot. So I don't care if I get the paint like on the base, because I'm going to go over it with black when I'm done. It's going to be just a plain black base when I'm all done with it. So it doesn't matter if I get brown paint on the base, because it's just going to be gone over with black, with that deep like acrylic black. So it's fine if I when I do the outline of these shoes, if I get paint all over the base, it's fine. Excuse me. Oh, my elbows are starting to hurt. Maybe move you guys this way. I want to text my husband real quick. Pardon me. There we go. Got it. Thank you for being patient with me. Alright, now the other boot. Time for the other shoe to drop. Ha! Oh, my elbows are hurting. I'm being leaned over the table. My husband might have gone to bed too. I don't know. If he doesn't text me back, then I'll know he went to bed. And I'll just go with the flow, I guess. And I did. Getting tired. I'm making mistakes because I'm getting tired. Alright. This angle is terrible. I'm not even in the frame. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. That's better. Okay, and now, because I messed that up, I need some of this color to go right there. It's got water on the base, doesn't it? Alright, there we go. That's better. Alright, I think I've got... Do I want to do the feathers in this color? I don't think I do. I think I want to do this dark wood color, or the ruddy fur color for the... Yeah. Alright. Okay, So before we move on to a different color, I'm going to go ahead and do the other guys. Pieces in this color now. Alright, so the chest piece. Yep, I think my husband might have fallen asleep, which that's fine because it's pretty late, so. Little piece. Back piece of the belt. To piece like that. Alright. Okay, now this. Darn it, I'm trying not to be out of frame, guys. I'm sorry. Definitely got on the bracer. I am getting tired. Okay, now the boots. Big boots. The wee little boots. Yeah, down here around the, around his shoes at the base is really the only point where I'll let myself be messy with it. Just because, like I said, I'm going to be going over it with black, so you're not even going to be able to tell that I got brown all over the base. Alright, so I think that looks pretty nice. Okay. these other guys. Alright, let's see. Look at these guys' leather armor to do now. Let's see. What do I want to do with these guys? Do they have a buckle on theirs? On this arm there is. Okay then. Well, we'll start with this arm. And again, with the same thing, I'm going to try to just go around the buckle. And the buckle's really muddy on these guys. So I'm just going to try to do the outline of the buckle as best I can. And then just put the horde bronze on it when I get to it. After I get done doing their armor. I'm going to have some more of this color on the palette though, because I'm running out. It's getting dry. It's getting dry. I don't believe we were doing 3-hour streams. I think it was going to be a 2-hour stream. And so I'm going to stop in about 13 minutes or so. And just go with it because I'm pretty tired. And my back's hurting from being hunched over. And also, my eyes are starting to like cross from all this little tiny itty bitty detail. And I'm making mistakes where I wouldn't normally make mistakes because I'm tired. So. Yeah. Alright. I need actually some more of the sand golem color because you never want that to happen. That was a big old glob of that just came out, and I just needed this. I missed just a tiny little piece of this. And it was a whole bunch that just came out. Oh man. Darn it. Shoot. Well, you win some, you lose some, I guess, right? Alright, I do need some more of this hardened leather color though. Yeah, sometimes like the tips of these will get clogged, and so you go to squeeze it and then just a little bit too much pressure and it'll just gush out like that. And that stinks when that happens because it's such a waste. But yeah, nothing that can be done about it when it happens, so it's fine. And this guy's shoe is up. Foot. Best it can. Okay. I like it. Okay. Alright, is that? Alright. I think that's all the leather armor on this guy. I do believe. I think actually I just noticed, and I did it on this guy too, didn't I? Oh well, no. Alright, hang on. Okay, it was just this guy. I actually missed a little bit of the back of his calf because I thought it was his boot. So I'm going to get a little bit of the skin color. Tiniest bit this time. And oops, I'm going to knock it over on the table. And then I'm just going to get that tiniest little bit and fix the back of his calf here with it. Didn't even need that much. Even that was a little too much. And just bring it over. Alright. There we go. That looks better. Oh, actually, that's it too. Okay. Okay. That looks better. Alright, let's get this guy's. Did I get this guy's? Oh, it was the same guy I just did. Pardon me. Alright, here we go. So, more brown. Yeah, I would love to paint more of the details on these guys. Like, for example, like their, the straps on their sandals and stuff, if they were clearer on the mini. If I could see them more clearly. But just trying to paint that tiny little detail when it's all just kind of muddy is like impossible. And to make it look decent, you know. I mean, like I said, I'm not a professional, and so I could take the time to do that, but I don't want to with as muddy as it is. If it was just plain, very obvious straps and stuff, and I could paint like the skin between them and stuff and make it look more detailed, like a detailed sandal, I would. But with it being so muddy looking, I'm just not comfortable doing it. It's hard to, you know, if I accidentally were to like paint a line through something that isn't supposed to have one, and I can't fix it because it's like a dark color against a light color, or, you know, something like that, then it's just not worth it to me to try to, you know, do it when it looks fine the other way too. Like, so, yep. We're going with it. We're working with it. That's what we have of it. Yeah, honestly, I got a lot more done with these guys than I thought I was going to. And so, if I do finish these guys off camera, I mean, it'll only be for, like, the minimalist little things. You know? It won't actually be for very much. Just, like, the little stuff. And so, I don't think it'll even be that big of a deal to do it off of camera. So, I think it'll work itself out just fine. I really hate it when I do these, like if I'm doing multiple paint jobs on the same miniature, And like, because some of the details can kind of get, like I said, muddy. I know that you've heard that word like 400 times, but if I'll paint one of the minis one way and then I go to pick up the next one and it's not the same on the next one, and I've actually mispainted something because of the way that it looked on the first one that I did it, I guess I should start looking at, both of them, or, if there's more than two, looking between them before I start painting them, just to make sure that the differences are not major, and then I paint them all the same. As far as, just making sure that I'm painting things on there that are supposed to be. And some areas are just really, really tiny and impossible not to make mistakes in. So I'm glad, like, with the bases, like, I just paint them black, So I am so sorry. I just now realized that I'm going to get this down. It's going to take me a minute, but I'm going to get it down. To not put my big fat head in the way. So you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to get this down. Alright, we're down to the last couple of minutes here. I think I'm just going to finish the brown armor, and then, again, like I said, I'll probably finish these guys before Wednesday. Just because I only have little things left to do. Like, on these guys with the link hats, I just have the eyes, the teeth. They have a little tongue sticking out. The feather looking things, this buckle. And then on his belt. Ooh, I missed a part of his belt, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. On his belt, there's like a little potion bottle. And so I got to figure out what color I want to make that. I forgot. There's the whole entire belt here. So yeah, he does have like a little potion bottle on his belt. But this is a pretty big one, actually. Okay, did I paint? No, I didn't. Alright, I'm going to put this back here. And then I'm actually going to paint up to that. This is going to be brown as well. Up to the bottle. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he actually has like this like little potion bottle on his belt. So I'm going to, yeah. So I got that. So on these guys, the only thing I have left to do, like I said, are the teeth and the eyes and the tongue. They got a little tongue that sticks out. And then the buckle on his bracer, the like feathers on the skull thing on his knee, the potion bottle, and the feather things on his elbows. And then the bases. And then on these guys, the only thing we have left to do is the little like teeth colors on these little like teeth that are on his belt, the buckle, and then the feathers and the bases. And then that's it. Oh, and the eyes and the teeth. Eyes and teeth, I forgot about that. These guys do not have a little tongue like the other guys do. So, I'm probably going to finish those. And then, yeah, so I'll finish those. And then Wednesday when I stream, I'll just work on these guys. So, like, this guy's got a sword. This guy, there's two guys with axes, two guys with swords, and two guys with these, like, daggers, I guess. Like, they're some sort of dagger or something. But yeah, so that's what I have so far. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's so dark. But that guy, and then, with these guys, trying to also get this to where it's upright too. Was like I'm having hard time with the dimensions, but anyway, so that is going to be the end. And I know there's a shadow coming across my face, but you got to make sacrifices in certain areas. But this was the first painting episode of yeah. I'm going to go back to the full face cam. So yeah, this was the first episode of the painting episode for Midnight Quest. I had a lot of fun, and I hope that, the more that we do this, the more, we can kind of interact with you guys and talk to you guys, and you'll interact with us, and we'll continue the journey next, on my husband will continue the journey tomorrow, and then we'll continue our painting journey on Wednesday night at midnight. So either Wednesday night or Thursday morning, however you want to think about it. But I had a lot of fun, and thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on Wednesday.